answering the questions that women are afraid to ask. The questions the strong one carry very within themselves, and not because they are really weak. It's because admitting them would be like literally a crack the identity. They survive by something they've been holding on for a very long time. So the questions such as why rest makes me feel anxious, or why do I feel lonelier than more capable when I become, right? So why does love feel destabilizing when I build such a strong, beautiful life? Or why do I keep working on myself but still feel tensed inside and can't fully relax, Here's the thing, this is not a mindset issue. And it's not because you haven't done enough healing or not work on yourself. It's just simply because no one ever taught you how to decode your nervous system. And not just to understand yourself intellectually, mentally. This is something you're really good at. You don't need more intellect. You don't need more mental development, right? So today I want you to answer the questions that strong women are afraid to ask, and explain that what actually decoding really means. So let's go with the first question. So why do I feel unsafe when nothing is wrong? You probably feel me, right? Always tensed. So this is probably one of the common ones, the silent questions. On a paper, your life works perfectly on a paper. You're probably capable, you're functioning, you're successful, beautiful, you probably have all it together, right? At least this is how it looks on a paper. But your body is very tense, and your jaw is tight, and your chest feels heavy. You feel like you're always on. I know that mode. You feel it's always on. So here's the truth most women never hear. Your nervous system, your body doesn't relax because life is good. I want you to understand, it doesn't relax because your life is good. It relaxes when it no longer has to protect you. That's very different. So many strong women grew up in environments where, let's say, emotions were met, the needs were met, the needs weren't safe, and inconsistency was normal. Inconsistency was so normal. That was my case in my life. Or let's say responsibility came early. You had to get your shit together very early in life. So your body learned that I stay alert, I stay capable, I stay ahead. And decoding begins by really identifying what your nervous system learned, not what your mind believes now. It's two different things. And once you identify those two different things, you start having answers. You start having a data you can work on, right? So the next question probably would be why slowing down feels like I'm losing myself? You probably can resonate in you in this, right? So strong women often then say, if I stop, everything will fall apart. But what's actually happening in this is your identity became fused with motion. So productivity and control. So really stillness doesn't feel peaceful at all. So it feels more threatening, right? It's crazy how body registers a threat. So rest feels very uncomfortable, and pleasure feels undeserved. Softness feels unsafe. Receiving probably feels awkward in a way. Decoding really separates who you are from what kept you safe. So you don't lose yourself when you, let's say, slow down. It's just very scary for your body. So you meet that part of you where that was never allowed to exist without performing. This is for me, that was the liberation to conquer that or decode that part of me. That kind of really liberate me, right? So another question very common, why do, let's say, relationships feel harder than career? Because you're really good at career, but relationships can't get it together, right? Women really say out loud, why I'm so competent in life, but I struggle in intimacy. Here's the thing, because your strength was forged into self-reliance, not co-regulation. So what really happened is you learn to self-soothe, to self-carry, to self-decide, to what else? Self-protect. So like really intimacy triggers like a really loss of control and vulnerability without a script. So emotional exposure. So really the decoding shows you how your attachment patterns and nervous system interact. So not so that you can label yourself, but so you can actually soften without really collapsing or losing yourself. So this is about becoming like a less strong at all. So it's more about learning safety with another nervous system. So you want to detach the fear from the strength you have built, the self-reliance. So that's a real liberation starts actually happening, right? I hope that answers the question. So another question very, very common is, why do I understand my patterns but still repeat them, right? So that's very common because intellectually you're really good at understanding awareness next level, right? So this is for the most frustrating one oftentimes. So I know my patterns, I have done the therapy, I understand my childhood, so why do I still react the same way? Here's the thing, because insight doesn't override your nervous system. Insight alone doesn't override nervous system. So your body doesn't respond to logic at all. It's crazy because something you're really good at, but your body doesn't respond to your mind. It responds to really capacity, safety, and repetition. So the coding works at the level where patterns actually live in the body, in reflexes, in your unconscious responses. And trust me, you don't need more awareness. You don't. You need integration. You need embodiment. You need to work with the body to really shift that. That's why you haven't shifted, because you work on here, but not with here. Okay. Next question, also very common, is why the decoding probably actually do differently. Here's the thing, decoding is not another like self-improvement method. It's not a mindset work. It's a process of identifying your like dominant survival archetypes. So I have them put in a different archetypes, so you can identify them, understanding how they shape your nervous system. Like really learning how your body signals safety versus like a threat, right? Danger. And building that internal trust instead of like self pressure, which is already doing it really well, right? So it's not really about fixing you. It's about unhooking from the strategies that once kept you alive, but now keeps you tensed and braced all the time, and probably now maybe you're in pain, right? So when women decode, they like tolerate less bullshit. The emotional is less emotional house. Like they stop over functioning or performing, right? They soften without losing the power. They identify, like they know how it feels to feel empowered, still stay like soft within themselves, right? And they are, most importantly, they stop abandoning themselves to keep things stable. So they stop shrinking, right? It's very powerful work. Probably could get one more question, and that is, maybe like truth, that no part one in the market you can say like loudly, right? Strong women don't need more discipline. Like women really need a permission to like stop being tense, stop being braced. They don't need more confidence. They just need internal safety. So they don't need another identity upgrade. They need to come back home within themselves. And the coding is loud, it's as subtle. And once it clicks, you can't unsee it. This is how you can put it, right? So if this is something in this video landed quietly in your body, not as excitement, but like as more like as a recognition, that's the decoding, that's the work like calling you. You don't need to rush, you don't need to prove, you don't need to perform, you don't need to like pretend readiness. You start where awareness meets your body. This is where the magic is. So I've created a free archetype guide where it's like an entry point. You can actually see your survival patterns and learn about how you learn the survival in your life, what kind of archetype you want, how to get out of that. And if you really for a deeper work, decoding is open. So you can start your full training of decoding and start actually getting your nervous system repairing from a survival into safety.